The US presidential inauguration on the 20th of January will be a pricey affair in more ways than one. General tickets for the ceremony that will see President-elect Donald Trump and a Vice President-elect J.D. Vance take oaths at the west front of the US Capitol are free. They are distributed by the members of Congress, and these are limited tickets and often they are in high demand. Each senator and representative has a specific number of tickets to distribute, and the requests typically exceed the availability. Now, the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremonies has issued over 220,000 tickets equipped with security features to prevent counterfeiting. The tickets are color-coded for security purposes and allow access to specific gates ahead of their inauguration. The US President-elect and Vice President-elect will also be taking part in fundraising dinners on the 21st of January. Access to this are through a 5-tier ticket package that offers supporters differing degrees of engagement with the new administration. At the bottom is the $50,000 ticket that provides access to a rally and reception before the inauguration, along with invites to key events. The $100,000 ticket is for attending additional exclusive events. Brief interactions with Trump and Vance require the donors to contribute at least $1 million. That is the highest tier ticket package. Now, this means that major donors to Donald Trump's inaugural committee are contributing twice as much to get direct access to him and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance at private events. According to reports, the inaugural committee has raised over $170 million and expects to receive $200 million more. The practice of granting high-dollar donors exclusive access to inauguration events is a familiar trend in American politics. It has also been seen during the swearing-in celebrations of former presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden. All right, we're hours away from Donald Trump's inauguration for Trump 2.0. For more on this, we're now being joined by Ambassador Meera Shankar from New Delhi. She's the former Indian ambassador to the United States. Ambassador Shankar, thank you so much for joining me here on the broadcast. Ma'am, first things first, your assessment of the first 100 days and, as Trump said, the first week and the first 100 days, they're both going to be monumental for the U.S. Your assessment?
Well, Trump has come with a radical agenda. And this time he's prepared. I think the two areas he's going to focus on, because these were key issues during his campaign. One is immigration, illegal immigration in particular, where he has promised the biggest mass deportation in US history. There are about 1.5 million illegal migrants who have already been identified and whose legal processes have been completed. So they are ready for deportation. Out of these, 18,000 are Indian nationals, mainly from Punjab or Gujarat. So this is one issue which is going to come at us almost shortly after his inauguration. The second is that there are about 11 million illegal migrants residing in the U.S. for quite some time. Now, Trump has promised that he's going to deport these as well, deporting about 1 million people a year. Out of these, 7,25,000 are assessed to be Indian nationals. So if deportation on that scale begins, though, of course, it will take time because they will have to be identified, they'll have to be rounded up, they will have recourse to legal processes, and some of this may also face legal challenge from civil society. So this is going to be a little protracted, but deportation of 7,25,000 Indians, if it happens, could make it difficult for the two countries to navigate their relationship at this juncture.
Yes. Ma'am, going forward, I'll just take it from where you ended. There was Howdy Modi, there was Namaste Trump, Trump Modi bonhomie has been a word. We saw it all through the first term of Trump's term in office. As far as Trump 2.0 is concerned, I just want your thoughts on both the points which will strengthen this relationship and possible irritants. It's something that you've already briefly mentioned in the first response, but if you can elaborate further on both parts.
I think that firstly, there is a bipartisan consensus in the US on building the relationship with India. So across changes of administration, whether it is Republican or Democrats, they have sought to strengthen ties with India. And this is because of their growing strategic convergence in the Indo-Pacific, the growing economic ties and technology partnerships between the two countries, and the increasing influence of the Indian American community, which is a bridge between the two countries. So this framework will apply to the Indo-US relationship as Trump takes charge for his second term. Having said this, there will be differences in terms of both domestic and global priorities, which the new administration has, which could impact both adversaries and allies and partners in a in a disruptive manner.
Understood.
So India has to brace for that, because beyond the migration issue, and these flow not because of India being targeted, these flow from Trump's domestic agenda, his Make America Great Again constituency, his America First approach. And this is going to inform many of his policies, including trade. He has said he will impose a 10 to 20% tariff uniformly on all countries for imports to the United States. And he will impose higher tariffs on China and higher tariffs, he has threatened, on Canada and Mexico.
Yes.
But post his election, he has been talking of a 10% additional increase on Chinese tariffs.
Yes.
So much lower than the original 60% that he had talked of. Every country will have to brace for this, because he's also seeing tariffs not only as a way of what he calls leveling the field for the US in trade and preventing others from taking advantage, but also to raise revenue. It's part of his core finance plan, because he's reducing taxes at the same time. So all countries are preparing. They are creating lists of potential goods that they could target up to 10%, from the US, which they are importing from the US, and they are also preparing their negotiating stance. So I think India too would need to be prepared, because these are things he's going to do immediately. This time he's come prepared. He's got a list of things that he's going to do. So within the broad framework of the Indo-US strategic partnership, where there will be continuity in security cooperation, in defense cooperation, in political ties, in the Quad, you've seen he's invited the Quad.
But India needs to brace. India needs to brace for those tariffs. Yes.
Yeah.
And
but his domestic agenda, his domestic political and economic agenda will drive policies which may be disruptive, particularly in the initial phase, till the relationship finds a new normal.
Till the relationship finds a new normal. And definitely tariff king was a term that Trump had used for India in the first term. There have been those things which are bound to come back in a different manner perhaps this time. But in the larger framework of things, everyone across the board in the US wants a better relationship and a stronger tie with India. And that is something that definitely both nations agree upon. So as large as the larger vision is concerned, that's in place. But tariffs is something India needs to brace for. Thank you so much for joining me, Ambassador Shankar. Pleasure speaking with you, ma'am.
Thank you.